This is just a warning that my audio is very loud. I also have the flu, so my voice is a little off. And secondly, that this is such an old case that there wasn't very many photos to use, so bear with me on the video content. Thank you for checking out Curious Cat Crime Sunday. This is Shelby, and today's episode is going to be on Kipland Kinkel and the events of May 20th and May 21st, 1998. Our case today takes place in Springfield, Oregon. Springfield is a city in Lane County, Oregon, located in the southern Willamette Valley. It is within Eugene-Springfield Metropolitan Statistical Area, separated from Eugene to the west, mainly by Interstate 5. Springfield is the second most populous city in the metropolitan area after Eugene. As of the 2020 census, the city has a total population of 61,851. However, in 1990, the census was 44,787 people, ranked 596th in the United States compared to 2020, where it was 614. Here are the events that led up to the Thurston High School shooting. On May 20th, 1998, 15-year-old Kinkel was suspended pending an expulsion hearing from Thurston High School in Springfield, Oregon, for being in possession of a loaded stolen handgun. A friend of Kinkel's had stolen a pistol from his father, of one of his friends, and arranged to sell the weapon to Kinkel the night before. Kipland paid $110 for the Beretta Model 90 .32 caliber pistol loaded with a 9-round magazine, which he then placed in a paper bag and left in his locker. When the father discovered he was missing the handgun, he reported it to the police and supplied the names of the students he believed might have stolen the firearm. Kinkel's name was not on the list. The school became aware of his possible involvement and questioned him. When they checked for the weapon, he reportedly stated, "Look, I'm going to be square with you guys. The gun's in my locker." Kinkel was suspended pending an expulsion hearing, and he and his friends were arrested. Kinkel was released from police custody and driven home by his father. At home that afternoon, Kinkel was told by his father that he would be sent to military school if he did not improve his behavior. According to Kinkel's taped confessions, at 3:00 p.m., his father was seated in the kitchen counter drinking coffee. Kinkel retrieved the Ruger .22 caliber semi-automatic rifle from his bedroom and ammunition from his parents' bedroom. He then went into the kitchen and shot his father once in the back of the head, then dragged his body into the bathroom and covered it with a sheet. Kinkel further stated that his mother arrived home at about 6:30 p.m. and that he met her in the garage, told her he loved her, and then shot her twice in the back of the head, 3 times in the face, and once in the heart. He then dragged her body across the floor and covered it with a sheet. Throughout the next morning, Kinkel repeatedly played the recording of a song and the final dramatic aria from Wagner's opera, Thurston and Isolde, on the family's sound system. The recording was featured in the 1996 film Romeo and Juliet and included on the compact disc, or CD, of the film's soundtrack. When police arrived at the house, they found opera music from the soundtrack playing loudly with the CD player set to continuously play. In a note Kinkel left on the coffee table in the living room, he described his motive for killing his parents as thus: "I just got 2 felonies on my record. My parents can't take that. It would destroy them. That embarrassment would be too much for them. They couldn't live with themselves." End of quotation. But as the note continues, he attempted to describe his mental state. Quote, "My head just doesn't work right. God damn. These voices inside my head. I have to kill people. I don't know why. I have no other choice." End of quote. On May 21st, Kinkel drove his mother's Ford Explorer to the high school. He wore a trench coat to hide the 5 weapons he carried, which I listed before, or possibly after, not sure where I'm putting it in this video, but it is listed. Kinkel parked on 61st Street, 2 blocks from the school, then jogged to the campus, entered the patio area, and fired 2 shots, one fatally wounding 16-year-old Ben Walker and the other wounding Ryan Atterbury. He went to the cafeteria and walked across it, fired the remaining 48 rounds from his rifle, wounding 24 students, and fatally wounding 17-year-old Mikhail Nicholson. Kinkel fired a total of 50 rounds, 37 of which struck students and killed 2. 300 students were present at this event. When Kinkel's rifle ran out of ammunition, he began to reload. Wounded student Jacob Riker tackled him, assisted by several other students. Kinkel drew the Glock from his belt and fired one shot before he was disarmed, injuring Riker. Again, as well as another student, he yelled at the student, "Just kill me." The students restrained Kinkel until the police arrived and arrested him. A total of 7 students were involved in subduing and disarming Kinkel. In custody, Kinkel retrieved the knife that was secured to his leg and attacked the police officer, begging to be fatally shot. The officer subdued him with pepper spray. Nicholson died at the scene. Walker died after being transported to the hospital, kept on life support until his parents arrived. The other students, including Riker, were also taken to the hospital with a variety of wounds. Riker had a perforated lung, but he made a full recovery. He received the Boy Scouts of America Honor Medal with crossed palms for his heroism of the day of the attack. The weapons used in the shooting were a 9x19mm Glock 19 Generation 2 pistol, a sawed-off 22 LR Ruger 1022 rifle, a 22 LR Ruger MK2 pistol, and 2 hunting knives. There were 4 people killed in this incident, including the perpetrator's parents at home, so 2 people and 2 at school. There were also 25 people injured. 20 years after the shooting, Kipland Kinkel finally decided to speak out to HuffPost. He said that a previous reported on KLCC affirmed by HuffPost, article, Kinkel now works as an electrician at OSCI. A former cellmate says he and Kinkel bonded over reading works of James Joyce, Ulysses, and the book Crime and Punishment. And Kinkel also became a certified yoga instructor, according to his childhood friend Tony McCown, has an odd-centered piece to him. At the same time, Kinkel tells HuffPost that he struggled that how he doesn't want his past actions to be used to restrict the opportunities for other lifetime inmates who committed crimes in their youth. This struggle compelled him to finally speak after more than 20 years of shunning countless invitations by media. "I've never done this. I've never done an interview," Kinkel told the reporter, "partly because I feel tremendous shame and guilt for what I did, and the element of society that glorifies violence, and I hate the violence that I'm guilty of. I've never wanted anything to do with bring more attention. I have responsibility for the harm that I caused when I was 15, but I also have a responsibility for the harm that I am causing now that I am 38 because of what I did when I was 15. It was a mean-spirited decision," Kinkel told the reporter shortly afterwards. "It's soul-crushing. I don't know how else to describe it. Those justices basically told us to go die, that our lives don't matter, that our existence don't have any meaning, that our future should only be torment, pain, suffering, and misery." The shooting ended when a group of students managed to subdue Kinkel, leading to his arrest. Kinkel pled guilty to murder and attempted murder and was sentenced to 111 years in prison without the possibility of parole. He is currently incarcerated at Oregon State Correctional Institute. Kip was born Kipland Philip Kinkel, August 30th, 1982. He was now the age of 40 at the time of this video. Springfield, Oregon, U.S. is where he was born. His father was William Kinkel, and his mother was Faith, and bear with me on this, Zuransky. Motive was alleged mental illness, and criminal penalty was 111 years without the possibility of parole. This speaks to Kipland's mental health. Due to the fear of being labeled abnormal or mentally challenged. I can't say that word on here. His doctor later said that Kinkel had told him he was hearing voices in his head from the age of 12. He eventually had hallucinations and paranoid delusions, including the belief that the government had implanted a computer chip in his brain and that the Chinese were coming to invade the West Coast. Kinkel described three voices: a voice A, who commanded Kinkel to commit violent acts; a voice B, who repeatedly insulted in depressive statements at the expense of Kinkel; and a voice C, who constantly echoed what A and B said. Kinkel claimed that he felt punished by God for being subjected to these voices, and that the voice A is who instigated the killing of his father and mother and the subsequent attack at Thurston High School. At the police station, Kinkel lunged at Officer Al Worthen with his knife, screaming, "Shoot me, kill me." The officer repelled Kinkel with pepper spray. Kinkel later said that he wanted to trick the officer into shooting him, and that he had wanted to die by suicide after killing his parents, but could not bring himself to do it. At his sentencing, the defense presented experts on mental health to show that the assailant was mentally ill. Jeffrey Hicks, the only psychologist who had treated Kinkel before the shooting, said that he was in satisfactory mental health. He had seen Kinkel for 9 sessions and treated him for major depression. The boy's parents terminated the therapy because Kinkel was responding well to treatment and ceased to show symptoms of depression. On September 24, 1999, 3 days before jury selection was set to begin, Kinkel pled guilty to the murder and attempted murder, and foregoing the possibility of being acquitted by reason of insanity. In November 1999, Kinkel was sentenced to more than 111 years in prison without the possibility of parole. At sentencing, Kinkel apologized to the court for the murder of his parents in the shooting spree. In June 2007, Kinkel sought a new trial, saying that his previous attorneys should have taken the case to trial and used the insanity defense. 2 psychiatrists testified that Kinkel exhibited signs of paranoid schizophrenia at the time of the shooting. In August 2007, a Marion County judge denied him a new trial. Kinkel appealed, arguing, among other things, that he had been ineffective assistance of counsel during the trial's proceedings. On January 12, 2011, the Oregon Court of Appeals affirmed the trial court judgments denying his motion for a new trial. Kinkel has appealed his sentence in both federal and state courts. In federal court, he claimed his guilty plea should not have been accepted without prior mental health evaluation. In state court, Kinkel challenged the validity of the virtual life sentence he was given, citing Miller v. Alabama. Kinkel is incarcerated at the Oregon State Correctional Institute in Salem. He received his GED while serving a portion of his life sentence at McLaren Youth Correctional Facility in Woodburn. On June 11, 2007, Kinkel, nearing his 25th birthday, the maximum age to be held as a juvenile in Oregon, was transferred to Oregon Youth Authority, McLaren Correctional Facility, to the Oregon State Correctional Institute, where he currently resides, with Oregon Department of Corrections SID number 129756669. The shooting at Thurston High was considered the deadliest shooting at the American high school until April 20, 1999, with the Columbine High School massacre, and later in February 14, 2018, with Stoneman Douglas High School shooting, which currently remains the deadliest high school shooting in the U.S. history. Thank you so much for watching another episode of Curious Cat Crime. This is Shelby, and I hope you have a great week.